All right, what is up? We are live, and today what we're going to talk about, well, first, we're going to answer some questions. We're not going to answer questions first, but my wife's here. She's moderating. She's actually picking out some questions, but I wanted to talk a little bit about repos. I know that we've done a lot of repo videos lately. It's a very important topic right now for the used car market, new car market too, because both are going to get both are going to be affected by the rate of defaults, by the rate of repos. And I know that the repo rates are getting to the same level. We just had a comment on the screen as they were in 2019. The problem, though, is that in 2019, there were way more cars that were actually sold. So the percentages of people that are defaulting and that are getting their cars repoed are much greater than they were in 2019. Might be the same amount, but the percentage of how many people are actually getting their cars repoed is just absolutely through the roof. It's one of the highest times that we've ever had. Now, what concerns me and why I put financial crisis into the title of this video is that this is something that could be similar to the housing market crisis. Now, I've heard like Josh Brown on CNBC talk about why like the financial crisis was so bad because of housing, and it's because for American spending, he said something like 18 cents of every dollar is connected to housing in America. And it's not even close to that much as far as the automotive sector is concerned. But what you're going to end up having is something similar to 2008, where people are going to, and we're already seeing it, just start walking away from these loans on these cars. Over the last 2 years, they have paid way too much for these cars that they couldn't afford to begin with. And now you're throwing inflation into the mix. Everything costs more. So these payments that they couldn't afford to have to begin with, because all these banks that wrote these bad loans for people who were not qualified, who were not able to cover the monthly payments. Now they have to pay more for everything, and their wages are not going up at the same rate. This is just a setup for disaster as far as the automotive space is concerned. Now, I don't believe this is going to crash the system. The amount of repos coming in are not going to outweigh the lack of trade-ins that are coming from these new car dealers. But the concern that I have is not necessarily just people that can't pay. It's the amount of people that might just say, hey, my car payment's too much, and I want to just go buy a cheaper car, for them to just walk away from their payments. And the banking system is already stressed. We've already seen that. We've seen banks go under, and there are a lot of loans that are out there that are bad, that are underwater. There are a lot of dealers that charge market adjustments, that had add-ons, and these vehicles are worth so much less than what these customers paid for. And even though they've been paying a year and a half, they are still so far underwater on these vehicles. And as repos increase, as credit gets tighter, and as people aren't able to get qualified for loans to buy new cars, the car prices have to go down. And as they go down, the people who are stuck in these cars that they paid way too much for, the values of their cars are going to go down. So someone's going to have to eat this at the end of the day. I think the banks are going to take just a big hurt because they're not going to be able to get this money from these customers after they repo. I know the customers own the line for the money, the difference, but they didn't have the money to pay for their monthly payment. They're not going to be able to come up and be able to pay the difference to these banks. So I believe the banks are going to get hurt in this. They're going to be the ones left holding the bag on a lot of these repos. And I think we had a couple questions already coming in.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Here's a good one from our friend Greg.
Yeah, they sent us an email, and
hold on, let's read the question so that people who
go ahead, read it.
Did YouTube ship your 100,000 subscriber plaque yet?
Yeah, we want to say thank you for everyone who's subscribed to us. We really appreciate it. And I think it's in the mail. So whenever we get it, we'll show it to everybody. But this is a car channel, so let's talk about car-related things.
But we appreciate the support. We've had a couple people already put an answer to this in, but I'm curious what you think. Can a car dealer look at my credit report if I'm paying cash?
You're not supposed to be able to to pull credit reports unless they're actually needing it for the deal. So the answer is no to that, and there's some strict laws on that.
I'm not sure how accurate that is. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we would need to check in on that, but I don't think that a dealer can pull your credit if it's not, if there's nothing adjusted. I mean, attached to the actual deal being done.
I think it was Greg or Ron that said that they had a dealer run their credit when they were paying cash for a car. So I don't know if there was some other kind of paperwork to sign, some other backup thing. If the cash didn't clear the bank or
you have
something.
to approve before your credit gets ran.
Yeah.
If you go get a credit card at Best Buy, if you go get, I mean, any kind of credit, anything, you have to approve them to be able to do it.
No, he's not saying that they didn't
Yeah.
that they didn't approve it, but just that it was required for something with the sale. So that's not something that we know a lot about because we don't do financing.
Yeah, we don't finance any of our cars. We sell them for cash. People don't pay just cash, but we don't finance anything. So
let's see. We're going to show this one. I need a car to get to work. I really want a quality used car or a brand new car. Will August be a better time to purchase a used vehicle? Do you think repo quality will get any better?
August will definitely be a better time to purchase than now, but I would still, if you can, I would still wait. I mean, I would wait as long as you can. So throughout this year, the best time that's going to be able to buy within the next year is probably going to be December, January, and then you're going to get another little bump for tax time. It's not going to be as bad as it was this year because the demand is just going to be, I can't imagine the demand just not being just in the just so much poopy. It's going to be so terrible towards the end of the year that these dealers are going to have to start cutting their prices because they're going to have floor plans coming up, and they can't sell anything right now. They definitely are not going to be able to sell anything towards the end of the year around Christmas time.
All right, here's one I'm not sure we know a ton about, and I'm going to need a second to be able to read through some comments.
All right, has anyone compared the number of used car lots in 2019 to the number now? I bet that number is out there. I would imagine that there are more dealerships that are open right now than there were in 2019. There were a lot of new dealers that were actually created in 2021, 2022 because money was just out there. It was free. And not only that, customers and used cars were just getting snatched up, and used car dealers were able to sell cars for anything, but there was so much free money out there for companies. So dealers that had maybe one lot, they were getting these PPP loans, that they were getting the small business loans. All this stuff was just readily available. So with all this free money that was sitting out there, I say free, they still have to pay a lot of this back, but it was very, very low interest money. Even if it wasn't through the government, if it was going through just bank getting small personal like business loans, the interest rates were so low that so many people were taking out loans, and they were able to use that to finance opening new businesses. So a lot of new businesses, not only used car lots, but I know we lost a lot of businesses right when the pandemic hit, but a lot of that came roaring back just because money was just readily available. It was out there. Everybody could grab it. I just hit the mic. Hopefully it didn't scream in your ears, but it was just out there. So a lot of dealers were created. So my assumption would be that there's more dealers today than there were in 2019. But I feel like you're going to see a mass exodus too of dealers. You saw the same thing happen to like real estate agents in 2009, 2010, 2011, when the housing market just took a absolute poop. You saw real estate agents just flee. There was, I can't remember the number I saw. I want to say it was like almost 30% of like real estate agents. I could be completely wrong on that. Somebody, if they know, they can put it in the comments, but it was just a massive amount of real estate agents that left the market after the 2008 crash. And I really think you're going to see a lot of that now with used car dealers. Now, when I talk about like a 2008 crash for housing versus like a crash in the used car market, I think the entity we can really relate real estate agents to would be the actual auctions, because real estate agents, they don't care where the price of housing goes. They just need volume. They want to move houses in large quantity. That's how they get paid. And auctions are really the same way as far as the car side goes, because auctions don't care where the used car prices go. I mean, they get paid a little bit more with fees if the prices are higher, but they just want to roll vehicles. So now that these auctions have, in a lot of cases, there's 50% of what some of these auctions have ran over the last 3 years than what they were used to running back in 2019. I've already heard of many of these, especially smaller auctions, have to close their doors because they're just not running the same kind of volume. If they're not getting volume, they're not getting fees. And if they're not getting the fees, then that's how they make their money. So the auctions and the real estate agents, they don't really care where the prices go. They just need volume. They need turnover. And with the Fed crushing demand, I think they're going to get hit really hard.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
I like this one. Did the dealerships know that you are recording on their lots? Did they ever kick you off?
So when I walk up onto the dealership lots, there's a lot of times I'm doing it pretty early in the morning. I drop my son off for school at 8:30. And I usually go to the lots right after that. Most of them open at 9. So I'm recording like 9:15, 9:30. And I'll usually have a salesperson come up and talk to me. And I'll be completely honest. I tell them exactly what I'm doing there. They're public areas that I'm in. And I'm literally reading stickers, what they have posted. So it's not anything that's hidden behind any closed doors. There's nothing that's wrong with it. And a lot of times when I open up to these salespeople and I tell them, look, I'm not here to buy a car. I got a YouTube channel, and I've had quite a few of them actually know who I am when I walk up on the lot, which just blows my mind. But they'll come up to me and I'll say, look, I'm just trying to give market updates to a lot of people. I'm checking prices, seeing what dealers are trying to charge for things, and then I'm putting it on YouTube. And I've not had one instance. We had maybe one rude salesperson, but even him, he divulged as much information as everyone. But they start opening up. They say, yeah, man, sales are slow. They're starting to cut prices. There was one Dodge Jeep Ram salesperson that even he was telling me, like, look, I mean, my GM's freaking out right now, and they're starting to lower stuff to like what we've got in it to try to just move some cars because they don't want to lose the allocation that's coming in soon. So he was telling me that the GM was freaking out and they needed to move cars and they were cutting prices. So when I go in there and they know I'm not going to buy anything and they're not busy, they usually tell me how the business is going, and not one of them has said it's good. So I feel like they're being honest with me. Now, I mean, you take it how you will, but I feel like I'm getting pretty honest answers for them just because they know I'm there not to, and they can't make money off of me and they just want to talk. So. Oh, did you hear that? That was gross.
Yep. Sorry, guys. Yeah, still working on that.
Yeah,
cold.
I'm still trying to get the cold out of my nose.
All right. Cam said someone said in a video they think the reason there's so many new trucks sitting and they keep making them is in this case is the automotive union strikes. What do you think about that?
That's not why the trucks are sitting. I mean, they're sitting because they're not selling them. I mean, I go to a bunch of like Ford dealerships. Ford's the easiest example. There's F-150s everywhere. I think maybe you're thinking about, you hear a lot of stuff about these trucks like sitting in fields and they're not getting finished.
He's saying, but they keep making them.
So I've heard a lot that they've had these trucks just sitting in fields, like even 2022s. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard a lot of people have commented to me about that. And I don't know if it's true or not, but they could be claiming still chip shortage stuff, but I don't know. I don't think it's a union thing that trucks are sitting around. I just think it's because they can't sell them. So they're still showing like strong sales, especially like Ford. Ford is showing some strong sales. The retail numbers are going down, but fleet sales are way up. But when they actually report their sales is when they push it out to the dealership. And we're seeing that they're pushing them out to the dealership because the dealerships are getting full. At some point, they got to stop. And you're probably going to see even more trucks of wherever you were seeing them stack up even more. And it's just because there's no demand. They can't sell them.
All right. Here's one from Rambler. We see a lot of. I love reading your comments. Opinions on getting a Buick for 0% APR.
I don't care what the APR is. I don't want to take out debt for any vehicle. So, I mean, if you're going to get a loan, then 0% APR is good. Obviously, is the best you can get. But you're going to have a time frame on that, and you have to make sure that you pay it off. I don't know as far as what the rules are with the financing for cars, but a lot of those financing plans that have certain amount of dates of months that you have to pay it off, and you have this 0%. A lot of times they can backdate a lot of that interest if you don't pay it off in the amount of time. So just make sure you know what you're looking at, know what your paperwork says, know what your financing plan is before you go into it. But I would recommend that you buy a cheaper car that you can afford and pay cash for it.
One more thing I want to say about the car payments. So, and the whole idea of people being able to afford the payment, that whole premise. The problem with that is, people lose their jobs, people have things come up, they have income hits, they have new expenses come up. And when that happens, you don't know that you're going to be able to afford that payment. So 0% interest is great. And I'm not saying Rambler has any issues with that, but there are tons of people when they're only looking at that monthly payment and they're not looking at, making sure that they're fine if things go wrong. If things go badly, then you don't want that payment anymore. It's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, if you can pay cash for a car, you can't get that car taken away from you. It won't happen. And then if something goes wrong or whatever, you can still sell that car. You can't. A lot of these people that bought these cars 2 years ago, they can't sell them because then they have to come up with the difference for whatever they owe on the vehicle. And compared to what it's worth, and they're going to be locked in these cars. And if something goes wrong with these cars, I don't know what they're going to do, because cars break. Even 2-year-old cars, they break. And if you don't have the money to fix them, you still owe money on it. You got to get out of the car, and you don't have the money to cover the difference. These people are going to be in trouble.
All right. State of Survival found a car for under $10,000.
Well, that's a big piece of trash for
stop it.
yeah, with 10,000 miles.
Volkswagen Beetle,
Yeah.
A 1970 Volkswagen Beetle. And I mentioned this in another live stream, but my first car was a 67 Beetle. So
yep, had to push it everywhere.
No, we did not. So
I bet the rear main seal was leaking at all times, though.
Please. All right. Here's a dealer question. What garage liability do you have? Do you want me to answer this one?
That's a mama question, because she does all the back end stuff. She is Superwoman. She does our Excel. She does our HR stuff. She does everything. I'm just a dude on a camera at this point.
A little bit more.
Go.
So we basically use our CIADA, the Carolinas Dealer Association. They have an insurance office, so they're kind of they don't directly offer the insurance, but they're one of the offices that will look for what options that you have. So we just go through them, and it changes from time to time. I'm honestly not sure which one we're on right now, but we just use the recommendation that we get from CIADA. All right.
Yeah, and a lot of states have their own dealer. If you're a dealer, have their own organization that helps dealers out. I know we have CIADA, which handles North Carolina and South Carolina, and they give a lot of recommendations. They have a lot of insurance stuff in house. They can get you hooked up with dealer software. Just that kind of stuff. So just if you're a dealer, just check in your state, and it's usually worth it to pay whatever their membership stuff is, just so you get the kind of the hookups. Yeah.
I put one up. Do you have an opinion on the Volkswagen Passat or Jetta?
I hate Volkswagen. I hate Volkswagen so much. I hate Volkswagen. Now I've dealt with cheaper ones. I've dealt with older ones. So it seems like every Jetta, every Passat, every whatever the SUV is, every one of those that I've ever had, the rear main seal is leaking in it, and I just don't buy them anymore. The newer ones I have no opinion on. I don't know, haven't driven one. I think I think I bought I'd say I don't buy Volkswagens, but I think I actually bought one 3 or 4 weeks ago, just because it was going cheap through the auction, and it made it to our lot. So I bet the rear main seal was not leaking on that one. So it might have been the only Volkswagen I've ever bought where the seal was not leaking. But no, I don't like Volkswagen.
All right, I'm going to skip around just a little bit. This is one that we've gotten a couple of times. Do you see any F-250s and F-350s?
Yeah, not often. We do see them. I think on the last live stream we did, I talked a little bit about the HD trucks. So when you're going to see prices on those go down is when you're going to see the housing market just take an absolute crap. When guys can't work anymore, when these contractors stop getting work, that's when you're going to start seeing all the heavy duty trucks, all the bigger trucks. That's when they start going down. I remember talking to like a bunch of old timers that are still like in the business that went through 2008, and they said that the bigger trucks, they were just going for like pennies because guys were just trying to just dump them, get out of them because they owed so much money for other stuff, and they had to make some cash real quick, and they just weren't working, so they didn't need the truck, so they had to get rid of it. So we will see that the worse the economy gets, the worse the construction market gets, the worse the housing market gets, you'll see better prices on those kind of trucks.
Okay. I am switching around a lot, so I might have a couple little delays here and there, but I am coming.
No problem. I can talk about anything.
I know it. JR said, should I invest in a couple repo trucks?
I don't invest. Oh, repo trucks, like tow trucks. So that business is very dangerous. I'm sure that you've seen a lot of these. Oh, this is another thing, just to go back to the beginning of this video, is we're seeing all these like repo channels pop up on YouTube now. And a lot of like YouTube shorts pop up with a lot of these repos just getting snatched up and taking them. And it's interesting to watch, but that's a dangerous job. I would never recommend getting into that field. There's a lot of money to be made right now doing that, but I would not recommend you do that because no amount of money is worth your life.
Here's one I'll throw up really quick, so it's just right here when you stop talking. Where are you based?
We are in North Carolina, and no, I'm not going to tell you where our lot is for two reasons. I feel like I have to say this all the time, but we have new viewers all the time. So I am a used car dealer that is on YouTube. Most people do not trust used car dealers, and I want to be able to. The reason they don't trust used car dealers is because obviously a used car dealer is trying to sell you something, right? One of their cars. And I want to make sure that I am able to give you a behind the scenes look and then be able to give you advice on buying cars, on fixing cars, on navigating anything across the used car market. And I feel like if I tell you where my lot is and I'm trying to sell you my vehicles off of my lot, then you're not going to be able to take that advice and see it as the truth, or that I'm trying to actually give you honest advice, because obviously I'm a used car dealer and I'm just trying to sell you my cars. I don't want it to be like that. And reason two is because I have a small team. We have 5 people. If I told anyone on YouTube where my lot was, we would get blown up with questions. People would try to come in and meet me. We're already getting this, and we haven't released where our lot is. It's just people that are local and have seen me on YouTube and recognize a lot, or they bought cars from us before. They're already coming and calling the shop. So no, we're not going to release that because we don't have the manpower to actually field all of those calls and questions and time that it would take.
All right.
And just real quick, after this live stream is done, we're going to have a members only live stream. So if you're not a member, go to our main channel page and hit join, and you'll be able to get in that. We have a small group right now, and last week when we did our members only channel, we literally answered everyone's question that was in there. So you will get your question answered because it's a small group right now.
Technically missed some of Ron's questions because he was just throwing out.
Well, Ron asked like 50 questions, so no, ask one question.
None of them car related.
And then go to the back of the line, Ron.
Love you, Ron.
All right.
All right. And on that note, welcome to the membership.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate you. So sorry. Here we go. Starting to see 0% by manufacturers. Inventory is also starting to build up at local dealerships. That's not a question, but I like.
Yeah, you're going to see that most of all with Stellantis, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. You're going to see that the most. Where you've started seeing that like last month already. You're going to see, I think, the next manufacturer to really pull that. What am I trying to say? Pull that string. That doesn't make sense. The next manufacturer that's going to go into adding extra incentives, add the 0% is going to be Ford. F-150s. They're everywhere. I keep saying this, and I'm going to continue to say this because Ford has a problem. I even think because of the amount of trucks they have compared to what Ram has, I think they even have a bigger problem than Ram has right now, and it's just not filtering through the numbers because they're able to pump. There's more Ford dealerships out there. That's just what it is. So they're able to actually channel stuff a lot more of these Ford dealerships. And you're going to see next quarter, you're going to see the quarter after that they're going to have to stop doing the channel stuff because 2024s are just around the corner. They're coming, and we're still seeing 2022 brand new trucks, brand new Ford Escapes, brand new Explorers sitting on these dealer lots, and they can't sell those either. So something bad's happening. Then I'm concerned about Ford. Ford's the biggest manufacturer I'm paying attention to. Thank you for another new membership.
And that's Grease Belly Garage. We see that name quite a bit.
Whoop, whoop.
Let's see.
We've also got some behind the scenes extra footage on our members only page too. Get to meet Alex. We got a video just showing him out. Alex is my mechanic.
I wanted to just explain a little bit more quick about that the membership. We're not charging to answer questions. We're answering any questions. And this one, the members only live stream just makes it a little bit more direct. We're still answering tons of questions.
So we have 845 people in this. We have 845 people in here potentially asking questions. We can't get to 845 people asking questions in any kind of live chat. If we did it for 24 hours, people are going to come and go, and you're probably not going to get your question answered because there's just so many of them. If you want to ask me a question, this is how we're going to do it because we can thin the herd. If you really want a question answered, then you can get direct access to me that way.
I appreciate the comment, though, because I don't want people to think that that's what we're doing. We just want to give an option for people who want to get that question in there. So here's a good one. Why can you at least say the name of those Toyota dealerships you visit sometimes?
It's not about the dealership. So the thing about it is I go to a lot of these dealerships and I try my best to hide the name or be on the side of the building that doesn't display their name. I'm not going to be able to hide it all the time. I'm not going to really try to go out of my way to hide, but it's not about these individual dealerships. What I'm doing by going to these dealerships and showing you these prices is I want to give you a feel of the market, a feel of what dealers can do. Now, I will say what I think is a good dealer and what I think is a bad dealer, but the thing that you can do, I'm just trying to give you information to be able to go and look for yourself, to be able to know. A good example is I've been to a couple Nissan dealerships that are about 10, 15 minutes away from each other. One Nissan dealership is charging at least $2,000 markup dealer adjustment on every vehicle they have. And they have tons of inventory and it looks like they're not selling very much. And I go 10, 15 minutes down the road and it's another dealership, another Nissan dealership, and they're selling everything for MSRP or lower. And they don't have hardly any inventory and everything that's coming in, they're selling. You can find good dealers and you can find bad dealers. It's going to take you more time to find good dealers, and you're going to have to probably travel a little bit. If you want to get a good deal on a car, you need to research, you need to search, you need to compare, and you need to be able to know exactly what you're paying. And this is the kind of thing that I'm trying to do, and why I don't really single out these dealers, because it's not about these individual dealers. It's about the mindset of, hey, there are some good dealers and there's some bad dealers, and you need to find the good dealers to buy from.
Right. And it's so much of when we see these cars on the side of the road, it looks like it's the manufacturer, that's brand name, but it is not. It is so much of this is on the dealers themselves. Yeah. And that is very individual. Yeah. The dealers have more control than over the pricing. The manufacturer can throw the pricing, whatever they want to. They could put a MSRP of $1, but the dealer, they're going to add a $50,000 markup, and all the dealers are doing it that are bad. So
All right, I think that's our time now. We've got 30 minutes. So now we're going to hop over in about 10 minutes to a members only chat. If you're not a member, please go to our member page and join. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, in broadcast.